The following is a presentation of Fox Sports. We are Fox. We are country.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Diego Padres. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Here we go again, the second half of the season, our second opening day, or in this case, opening night. The Dodgers greeting San Diego. It'll be Clayton Kershaw going up against Clayton Richard. Richard, by the way, is 2-0 against the Dodgers, 6-1 lifetime. As far as the Padres are concerned, the Dodgers have beaten them 9 straight here at Dodger Stadium, and they've won 7 of 9 this year. However, the Dodgers, as you know, slowed down at the end of the first half, losing 15 out of 20 and going from 7.5 in front to a half a game. Meanwhile, San Diego, languishing in the back, suddenly at the last 28 games were 15-13. So we'll see about the Dodgers and the Padres and a whole lot more coming up right after this. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the Hyundai Fuel Efficiency.
Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar One, made in California.
Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the Hyundai Fuel Efficiency Drive Sales Event, by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By CarMax, start the search for your next car at CarMax. And by Dodge.
Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar One, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar.
The second half is just about underway, and of course the big story is the return of Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier. Matt just announced in the starting lineup right now, and the crowd a huge applause, and Andre Ethier hearing it right now as well. First game for Kemp since the 30th of May. First game for Andre since June 27th. You see the records when both play, and when they don't, they are under 500 with Kenny Lofton and Steve Lyons. Kenny, with these guys back, in your opinion, 75 games remaining, are they the favorite to win the division?
Well, they are the favorite because people saw how they can play in the first half. So now they're going to have to come out, even though every team goes into a little slump, and that's what the Dodgers did. Went to a little slump. It's going to happen to every team. So I'm just glad it happened earlier than late.
And the sad part is the fact that they've only played 33 games together. They're 10 games over 500 when they're both in the lineup. Even if they don't hit right away, you know these guys are good enough players where they are going to hit at different times for the rest of the season. But if you forget about them, maybe Mark Ellis jumps up and bites you when you're looking past them. If you get those guys out and you relax a little bit, then maybe it's Rivera that jumps on you, or A.J. Ellis. Those guys make everyone else better, too.
So good to see Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier playing together again, and Kershaw's on the hill. It all starts next, the second half, and Vin with the call right after this.
Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the All-American Jack Combo.
Let's see if they remembered or they completely forgot. I guarantee they completely forgot. So we burn John Chapper at the stake tomorrow? Exactly, unless we can call him and remind him. I'll text him. Yeah. I can't even open one of these bloody... Look, the heat and the humidity may have gotten to him even since I put him down. This one's okay. Okay. Headset, check for radio and TV.
Hiya, Brad. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino, now celebrating 26 years of fun. Visit sanmanuel.com for details. By 76 Gas, we're on the driver's side. And by Time Warner Cable. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers are home, breaking the seal on the second half of the season and entertaining and hosting the San Diego Padres. A hot evening. Meanwhile, the Padres have been reasonably hot. They're 11-5 on the road since the middle of June. They've won 5 straight on the road. Couple of notes about their offense. They don't score very much. They like to swing at the first pitch. They swing a lot 2-0. They bunt for hits, and they have a good bench. They also do not hit into double plays. They steal bases, they draw walks, and they hit the ball a lot on the ground. What they don't do, they are poor against clubs that are under 500. They also rarely get deep in the count. Bud Black would like to see them take a little more. They swing and miss a lot. That means that Black has problems putting hit-and-run plays on because he has a club that just doesn't make contact. Like the Dodgers, they're certainly lacking in home run power, and they don't sacrifice as well. One other note on them, they are 4th highest in being caught stealing. So those are the positives and the negatives, and now here's the Padre lineup. Chris Denorfia in right field and Logan Forsythe at second base. Chase Headley at third and Carlos Quentin in left field. Yasmani Grandal will be the catcher. Yonder Alonso at first. Cameron Maben in center field. Everett Cabrera the shortstop, and a very good pitcher, Clayton Richard, on the mound. And of course, very good certainly applies to Clayton Kershaw. He is 6-5. 4-2 against San Diego here at Dodger Stadium. 7-3 lifetime against them. However, he's had 2 starts against the Padres without a decision. 12-1 in the second half, so he's the leader of the ball club, and he starts Denorfia with a strike. So Kershaw 6-5 beginning the second half. Denorfia hitting and swings, fouls the pitch away. So Denorfia, as he stands in, hitting .299. He has 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Against Clayton Kershaw, he's hitting .308. So Kershaw working on the right-hand hitting outfielder Chris Denorfia. Breaking ball is low, and a 1-2 count. The temperature at this time of the evening, 7-11. On the warm side, 81 degrees here in the ballpark right this minute. But a beautiful sky with some white clouds up above and a lovely start to the ball game. The 1-2 pitch to Denorfia, swung on, ground ball wide at third. Nice pick by Uribe to get him, and just like that, we have one away. Here are the Dodgers defensively. You have Hairston, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. The infield of Uribe and Cruz, Ellis and Rivera, and behind the plate, A.J. Ellis handling Clayton Kershaw. So one away in the first inning. And the batter now will be Logan Forsythe. Tonight, of course, marks the return of Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp. When we were talking about the Dodgers in the very opening of the program, as Forsythe takes a strike, we did not give the lineup. We knew that Matt Kemp was definitely going to play, but we weren't sure about Andre Ethier. So we figured if we tell you Kemp's playing, you're going to say, where's Ethier? And we didn't know. The pitch to Forsythe is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. In order to make room for Kemp and Ethier, Elian Herrera and Scott Van Slyke have been sent back to Albuquerque. The 1-1 pitch a little high, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Logan Forsythe, the second baseman, impressed a great deal just at the end of the first half of the season. The right-hand batter swings, bangs one right at Ellis for the out. So Logan Forsythe lines out, 2 down, and Chase Headley coming up. Chase Headley, the switch hitter, who will certainly bat right-handed against Clayton Kershaw. He comes up hitting .267, 8 home runs, 42 runs batted in. Kershaw ready, fastball off the plate, ball 1. 2 out, first inning, no score. Headley hitting just .188. 6 hits in the past against Kershaw. Clayton's fastball is foul back, second deck directly behind home. Foul ball alley. 1-1 the count to Chase Headley. Headley does not hit well in San Diego. His career batting average is .234. This year he's elevated that a little bit, hitting .259. The 1-1 pitch is hit in the air to left field, coming up for it in a hurry, but to play it on a bounce is Jerry Hairston. So Headley is single to left field with 2 out, and Carlos Quentin will be coming up. When the Dodgers were beating San Diego earlier in the year, and remember they beat them 7 out of 9, it should be noted that Carlos Quentin was not playing for the Padres. Quentin, a marvelous talent, was originally signed by the Diamondbacks out of Stanford University, hitting .268, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Carlos is a local boy. He was born in Bellflower and lives in Chula Vista. His biggest year would be with the White Sox. Throw to first, Headley back on the bag. Back in 2008, he had 36 home runs, 100 runs batted in, and a .288 batting average. 2008 with the Sox. Quinton, right-hand batter waiting, has a look at a pitch low, ball 1-0. Carlos Quinton had Tommy John surgery, even though he's an outfielder. He had it right after his career at Stanford and just before he was drafted. He had it in July of 2003. So Quinton well put together, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Kershaw comes to him, and it's low and away, ball 2. When Carlos Quinton was about 12 years old, he was 5'9", and he weighed 140 pounds and sported a mustache. And his parents worried he was too big to play Little League. They were afraid he'd really hurt somebody. 2-0 the count. Kershaw out of a stretch. Here he comes. Fastball grounded to short. Backing up Cruz for the hop. Gets it to Ellis for the force. And that's that. No runs, a hit, a man left. Matt Kemp will be batting third, and Andre Ethier hitting fourth when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the first inning. Padres failed to score in the first inning, and the Dodgers now getting ready to go up against left-hander Clayton Richard. Gary Hairston leads off in left field, and Mark Ellis at second base. Tonight marks the return of both Matt Kemp in center and Andre Ethier in right. Juan Rivera at first base, A.J. Ellis behind the plate. Juan Uribe at seventh, plays third. Luis Cruz at short. Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for San Diego, Clayton Richard. He's a big boy, 6'5", 225, a record of 6-9 with a good ERA of under 4. His last 6 starts, he's 4-2, and against the Dodgers, he is 6-1 in his career with an earned run average of 2.6. He's also beaten the Dodgers twice this year. So Clayton Richard ready to go to work against Jerry Hairston. Left-hander into the windup. Down he comes with a fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Hairston batting .297, 4 home runs, 21 runs batted in, with a modest 5-game hitting streak that includes a couple of home runs. Richard ready and comes right back with another fastball for a strike, 0-2. Couple of things about Clayton Richard. He is one of the most efficient pitchers in the league. He averages less than 3.5 pitches per batter. That would put him right up there with Bartolo Colon and Tim Hudson. Strike 2 pitch inside, ball 1, 1-2. Clayton Richard went to the University of Michigan. He's from Lafayette, Indiana. A lot of things about him. Number one, he does not allow home runs to left-hand hitters, at least in his career. The 1-2 pitch is swung on, hit to center, going back on the ball. Cameron Maybin at the wall to make the catch for the out. In the heat, 81 degrees at the start of the game, so you have to figure the balls will carry a little bit better tonight than most evenings. Now Mark Ellis coming up under a beautiful sky, an interesting sky. It's the kind of a sky, if you're with a child, you start looking at the clouds and imagining fish and all kinds of other things up there. Ellis at the plate, right-hand hitter takes off the plate. Ball 1-0. One away, bases empty. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Richard works quickly, right back with a fastball low, and he's behind 2-0. For San Diego, you have to figure unlucky timing. Unlucky indeed. The 2-0 pitch on the way is on the outside corner, 2-1. On the night that both Ethier and Kemp returned to the lineup, Bud Black's club sees a team that has dominated them this year. The next pitch is popped in the air, back of third, down the line, hooking foul and out of play. So that gives us a chance. This year, Kemp and Ethier combined against San Diego have 8 home runs, 31 runs batted in. The entire San Diego club against the Dodgers, 6 home runs to the duo's 8 and 33 runs batted in. And when Matt Kemp comes up, well, you'll be hearing about a guy who has tried to destroy San Diego. Good fastball swung on and missed, and down goes Ellis. So 2 down, and after missing 51 games tonight, Friday the 13th, considered unlucky, the Dodgers feel one of the luckiest days of the year, marking the return of Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier. Matt Kemp, by the way, against San Diego in 7 games, has 6 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Getting back to Matt, hitting .355, 12 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Matt checks in. Clayton Richard ready and delivers. Kemp fouls it back, and the count 0-1. And looking at Richard battling Kemp, Kemp has 2 home runs and 8 hits against Clayton and a .348 batting average. Matt Kemp had 12 home runs in April. The Dodger team together has hit 12 in June and July. So to say they missed him would really be a major understatement. Meanwhile, Andre Ethier tuning up behind him. The 1-1 pitch to Matt. He pulls away. It's low and inside. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. Matt Kemp having missed 51 of the Dodgers' last 53 games with that left hamstring. The 2-1 pitch. Matt swings, grounds it, fouled outside of third, and the count 2-2. Psychologically, you would expect that Matt Kemp somehow or other will be somewhat afraid to let loose. But then countering that is the fact in a game before a big crowd, his competitiveness takes over. So there's a war between the two as he whacks one down the left field line, foul into the chairs, and it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Kemp. Matt played 6 games at Single-A Rancho Cucamonga and Triple-A Albuquerque. As you know, elected to his second All-Star game, didn't play. Matt back up and waiting. Richard looks down from the third base side of the rubber. And the pitch to Matt is swung on and driven to the gap in left center field. That is going to bounce to the wall. And Matt Kemp jogging into second. Welcome back, Matt Kemp. So the crowd enjoying it as Kemp just laid the wood to it, hit it to the big gap in left center. There was no chance anyone would catch it. And by the time it was run down by Carlos Quentin, Matt Kemp had breezed into second base. For the record, his 7th double. So now Andre Ethier hitting .291, 10 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Ethier trying to pick him up. Andre missed the club's last 11 games with that left oblique strain. With 2 out, he checks in, and Roberts breaks a ball over there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Ethier is hitting .130 against Richard. 3 hits for 23 at bats. 0-1 the count to Andre. 2 out, bottom of the first, no score. Ethier at second. Next pitch is a little slider down and away, swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. One thing about Clayton Richard they've learned over his career, if a left-hand hitter tries to pull Richard, the hitter will have a batting average of about 200. If you go the other way with him, the hitters are batting 470. It's pulled right back to the box. Richard has it, runs to the bag, feeds it, and that's that. So Ethier a comebacker for the Dodgers. No runs, Kemp's double and a man left, and at the end of an inning, no score.
Tickets must be shown to Dodger personnel upon request. Comply with requests from Dodger personnel regarding stadium operation and emergency response procedures. Please be courteous to the residents of the neighborhood surrounding the stadium when entering and exiting the stadium. Alcoholic beverages may not be brought onto the stadium premises. Smoking is prohibited in all areas of the stadium except the designated areas. Foul or abusive language and obscene gestures are prohibited. Well, there it is. Dodgers Code of Conduct.
Hey fans, when you grab some buzz and cheer on the Dodgers, let everyone know you're a Budweiser good sport. Be responsible and be sure to designate a driver and enjoy the great times.
They were fine players. They're fine managers managing against each other. They also played a lot against each other. Mattingly hit .205 against Bud Black with 2 home runs. And remember, Mattingly was a career .307 hitter. Bud Black won 121 big league games. And the first pitch to Grandal is going to be a fly ball that drops in front of Matt Kemp. He can't recover and kicks it back towards the infield. And Grandal goes into second base standing. Yasmani Grandal out of Havana, Cuba, gets himself a pop fly single or double. We'll wait to see how the scorer will rule it. Matt tried to backhand it and shinned it back towards the infield. For Grandal, it will be a double. By the way, he's kind of a special guy. In his first big league start, Grandal homered twice, and he's a switch hitter. And he homered from each side of the plate. What a way to break in. So now he gets a pop fly double, and Yonder Alonso is up there now to take ball 1. 1-0. 1-0. Yonder Alonso hitting .263, 3 home runs, 23 runs batted in. He's from Miami and went to the university. Swings, fouls it off. 1-1 the count. Yonder Alonso, big fella, 6'2", 235. Swung at the first pitch. He does that about 40% of the time at least. Trying to advance Grandal, a catcher. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Kershaw set, looks back, comes with a fastball swung on and missed. Fastball might have been out of the strike zone. It was up and away. One thing about Grandal, very aggressive. He doesn't take called strikes very often. He's also a very good hitter, believe it or not, in the first 3 innings of a game. He's in a hole here, 1 and 2. Swing, slaps it foul, out of play. Yonder Alonso is hitting .348 in the first 3 innings of a game, but then from the 4th inning on, he's hitting only .221. They haven't quite figured out why. Maybe he's failing to adjust. 1 and 2 the count with a big left-hand batter, Yonder Alonso. The 1-2 pitch is low and inside. 2 and 2 the count. So Clayton Kershaw, who made 14 pitches in the first inning and gave up a single to Chase Headley, gives up a pop fly double here in the second, with Alonso, Maben, and Cabrera coming up. Meanwhile, Clayton Richard cooling out, if possible, in the dugout. 2 and 2 the count. Kershaw out of a stretch. Left-hander deals down and away. Ball 3. 3 and 2 the count. Waiting on deck, Cameron Maben. Alonso came from Cincinnati in the Matt Latos trade. They were so very high that they then were able to trade Anthony Rizzo, whom they thought was a cinch to be the heir apparent to Adrian Gonzalez at first base. Pickoff play, and Grandal just gets back. So Yasmani Grandal almost nailed on the throw to Cruz. The tag on the shoulder and the hand was on the bag, but it was very close. So 3 and 2 the count to the left-hand hitter. Kershaw out of a stretch, another look back. Now comes to the plate, fastball fouled away. Now going out to the mound is A.J. Ellis. Usually on a pickoff play like that, the first sign comes from the catcher. So the pitcher is looking into the catcher. He gets the sign. An old sign I remember years ago, the catcher would get into his crouch and then just rest the back of the catcher's mitt on his left thigh, just for a split second. But that would be to tell the pitcher to throw back to second. 3 and 2 the count. There are probably 100 other signs at least. Kershaw ready. Here he comes, and another foul ball off to the left, out of play. In looking at Yonder Alonso as he's battling Clayton Kershaw, he has had about 325 plate appearances, and he has struck out 57 times. He's not a power hitter. He has 3 home runs, 23 runs batted in. 3-2 coming up. Kershaw set, ready, delivers, breaking ball fouled away. Slow, and the break fouled off. The other thing for Alonso, he has walked a little bit more than half the times that he has struck out. So a pretty tough hitter. Hitting in the number 6 slot. Cameron Maben hitting back of him. Kershaw having to work a little harder. Another look back at Grandal, and the fastball is low, ball 4. So Alonso wins that battle. First and second, nobody out, and Cameron Maben coming up. Maben, a fine center fielder who gets a lot of called strikes against him. If he gets on base, he runs very well. Cameron Maben, among other things, has stolen 16 out of 20. However, he's also been picked off 4 times. So Cameron Maben out of Asheville, North Carolina. He was a number 1 pick by the Tigers back in 2005. 2 on, nobody out. Here comes Kershaw, and it's fouled off. 0-1 the count. For Maben, with his good running speed, he is grounded into only 4 double plays. Yonder Alonso, that walk that he got, that was a 10-pitch at bat. So you have a pop fly double, a 10-pitch at bat that produces a walk, and the Padres have something going. The Giants have something going. They're leading the Astros 2-0 in the first inning. Buster Posey hit a 2-run home run against Wandy Rodriguez. Fastball in for a strike. So Maben, as we told you, it's a lot of called strikes. He's 6'3" and 212. Signed a 5-year deal last year. He provides them with great coverage. He's a real daddy long legs. And the strike 2 pitch swung on. Little chopper backhanded by Kershaw. He decides to go to first. I think Clayton was a little confused as he looked towards second. You had both Cruz and Ellis breaking towards the bag. I think Clayton wasn't quite sure who was going to really cover, and because of that, he hesitated and then turned and threw to first. So Maben hits a comebacker, and that advances the runners at second and third. So 1 out, second and third, and Everett Cabrera coming up. Cabrera, as he checks in, he's a switch hitter hitting .239. He has far better numbers batting left-handed, and he's hitting really only .136 right-handed. So with Grandal at third, Alonso at second, and 1 out. Cabrera hitting .239, checks in at the plate, swings, hits a ground ball to the right side. Ellis only plays to first. Scoring is Grandal. Alonso takes third, and the Padres lead 1-0. So Cabrera picks him up. The hesitation by Kershaw. And with a run in, a runner at third, and 2 down, Clayton Richard coming up. Richard hitting .114. He does have 4 hits and 4 runs batted in, so they have to be careful with him. Kershaw's fastball is in for a strike. So Clayton Kershaw has surrendered a run here in the first inning on a pop fly double, a walk, and 2 infield outs. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. 1-0 San Diego. Second inning, 2-0 Giants leading Houston in the first inning up north. 0-2 the count. And the pitch is swung on, line to left field, but right there is Hairston to make the catch. So Richard puts the bat on the ball but makes the out, but not before the Padres get a run. And at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 San Diego.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
The Fox Sports West girls are here at Dodger Stadium tonight, and if you would like to meet them, they'll be by the ticket booth window behind home plate on the Loge level during the 3rd and 4th innings. Stop by and say hello to Aisha and Corinne. The Fox Sports West girls. Bottom of the second for the Dodgers, first baseman number 21, Juan Rivera.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Bottom of the second inning, the Padres take a 1-0 lead. Yasmani Grandal, a boy who had home runs in his debut from each side of the plate, had a pop fly double, and they eventually got him home. So with the Padres leading 1-0 and the RBI going to Everett Cabrera, we go to the bottom of the second. Juan Rivera hitting .257. He has 3 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Interesting, almost contradictory point about Clayton Richard. The left-hander's strike one pitch is fouled away, 0-2. Richard is basically a ground ball pitcher. That's what the numbers tell you. In fact, 6th highest with ground balls to fly balls. Yet, he has given up 16 home runs, 15 of them to right-hand batters. So Clayton turns ready, and the strike 2 pitch to Rivera, waved at and missed, and down he goes. That would be strikeout number 2, turned in by Clayton Richard. A.J. Ellis coming up. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Padres, game 1 of the weekend series, followed by 3 with Philadelphia Monday and Tuesday nights. And remember, Wednesday of next week is a 12-10 game. Tomorrow night's game is a 6-10 game. So a 1 away, and here is Ellis, the right-hand hitting catcher, looks at a pitch low, ball 1. A.J. had a great first half. Hit .285, 7 home runs, 28 runs batted in, reached base 108 times. The 1-0 pitch fouled away. 1-1. Ellis proved, among other things, he is one of the better 2-strike hitters in baseball. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and Ellis has a look and pays the price, and they count 1-2. He looks questioningly at Darryl Corbin. 1-2 the count. So while A.J. fusses a bit, we can tell you that Clayton Richard is the son of a retired police officer from Lafayette, Indiana, and his mom played volleyball on a scholarship at the University of Michigan. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. The left-hander deals, fastball lifted to dead center. Maben going back to the track near the wall and makes the catch for the out. So Ellis, a fly ball dead center, 2 away, and the batter now will be Juan Uribe. Juan Uribe hitting just .143 against left-hand pitching and an overall batting average of just .194. So for Juan, the first half of the season was very, very forgettable. Richard rocks, turns, and the big left-hander's first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Uribe, however, has 2 home runs against Clayton Richard, and he's hitting .375 against him. Takes a pitch away, 1-1 the count. Now the 1-1 pitch, off speed and away. Uribe started off and held up. 2-1 the count to Juan. 1 home run, 13 runs batted in. 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball in there as Uribe bailed, and the count 2-2. Richard checking with his catcher, then works away. So he's been in and away, back and forth, and runs the count 3-2. For Clayton Richard, he has walked 28 and struck out 68. The 3-2 pitch on the way, fouled away off to the left, dribbling over to the Dodger dugout. Still 3-2 to Juan Uribe. Clayton Richard has beaten the Dodgers so that his record is 6-1 in his career. Fastball is a big hopper up the middle. Behind the bag is Cabrera, but he can't make the play. Then he slips and falls down. The ball is loose, and Uribe can go into second base standing. So a high bouncer up the middle. It was one of those things where the shortstop was not about to quit on it. Had he accepted a base hit, it would have been a base hit. But he lost sight of it, then slipped and fell down. And by the time the ball was retrieved, Uribe has himself a gift double. So the Dodgers Saw Grandal got a pop fly double to left. Now Uribe gets his first hit since the 20th of June. It'll be a little double off the shortstop's glove, and the batter will be Luis Cruz. So far that much has evened out. Cruz hitting .318, 4 runs batted in. Young shortstop has hit in 5 of the 7 games he's played, and he takes low and inside, ball 1, 1-0. One thing with Richard, I'm sure it's on his mind, the Padres do not score a lot of runs. So we'll see just how much he wants to challenge the number 8 hitter. He works on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 1-1. Richard's earned run average against the Dodgers in 10 starts is 2.6, and he's already beaten them twice this year. 1-1 pitch on the way, inside at the feet. Nice save by Grandal. 2-1 the count. For the Dodgers, of course, we're talking about the Padres not scoring a lot of runs. The Dodgers scored 3 runs or less in 17 of the last 21 games they played before the break. But, of course, they were minus Kemp and Ethier. 2-1 pitch coming up to Cruz, and it's nubbed foul up along first. And the count now 2-2. Dodgers, repeating a couple of numbers, lost 15 of the last 20 before the All-Star break. They actually come into this game with a 3-game losing streak. But favorably, the Dodgers have beaten San Diego 9 straight here at Dodger Stadium. Tomorrow night, Aaron Harang, and then on Sunday afternoon, Chad Billingsley. They're resting Chris Capuano just to give him a little extra time. 2-2 the count to Cruz. Luis, right-hand hitter waiting. Richard delivers. Ground ball to short. Cabrera gloves. Cranks it up and throws him out. Nice stretch over there by Yonder Alonso. So the Dodgers lead Uribe, and at the end of 2, 1-0 San Diego. Third inning with the Padres leading the Dodgers 1-0. Last we heard, Giants were leading Houston 2-0 in the first inning. Chris Denorfia will start it off. Denorfia has really picked up with the bat since June 1. Chris hitting .395. So he's one of those fellows handled with care. He's played with the Reds, the A's, and the Padres. Right-hand hitter, and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Denorfia is from Bristol, Connecticut, and Southington, Connecticut. Went to Wheaton College. The strike 1 pitch on the way. Chris lays off. It's low in the dirt. 1-1. Kershaw has made 32 pitches in the first 2 innings. 1-1 the count on Denorfia. Left-hander ready. Clayton comes back 1-1, and that's in for a strike. 1-2. Tonight's kind of rare. You have 2 pitchers with the first name Clayton, and Stats Inc. decided you might want to know how many players in the big leagues with the name Clayton. The 1-2 pitch, off-speed breaking ball, strike 3 call. That thing came up at 74 miles an hour. It looked like a balloon with a string had just broken, and it just mesmerized Denorfia. Big pitch. So we have 1 away in the 3rd inning. That would be the first strikeout for Kershaw, and the batter, Logan Forsythe. Anyway, there are 5 Claytons ever to play in the majors. Clayton Kershaw, Clayton Richard, and 3 others. Pitch is in for a strike. Clayton Lambert, who played in the middle 40s. Clayton Andrews, who played in the year 2000. And Clayton Mortensen, who's still active, came up in 2009. Not much, but in case you wondered. 1 ball and 1 strike they count to Logan Forsythe. Forsythe's another player who has been very impressive of late. He's out of Memphis, Tennessee. Swings and hammers one down the left field line. That's going to go all the way to the box seats. Forsythe on his way into second base easily with a stand-up double. So Forsythe now has 4 doubles.
Next, third baseman,
so, you know, Tuesday, July 31st, Kirk Gibson bobblehead night, presented by San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino. Fans with the first 50,000 tickets receive a mini fist-pumping Gibson celebrating his heroics in Game 1 of the '88 World Series. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Logan Forsythe, sharp double, and the batter now, Chase Headley, trying to pick him up. Padres lead 1-0. There's that sole change up in for a strike, and they count 0-1. 1 run, 3 hits for the Padres. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. 3rd inning. Kershaw delivers and is low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chase Headley, one of the coveted third basemen in Major League Baseball, out of Colorado, went to the University of Tennessee. The 1-1 pitch swung on, little ground ball wide of third. Uribe makes the play, going over in front of Cruz, and with the ball hit ahead of him, Forsythe had to hold at second base. Nice play by Uribe. So 2 out, and Carlos Quentin coming up. So Uribe moving wide to his left and makes the play. Carlos Quentin out of Bellflower in Chula Vista. Carlos hitting .265, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He went to San Diego's University High School, and he was a 3-sport athlete down there. And the first pitch, high and tight, ball 1. So Quentin kind of looks at Kershaw and takes a little walk. That pitch seemed to certainly deliver a message. When Quentin was in high school, he played the outfield in baseball. He was a running back and an outside linebacker in football, and even a small forward in basketball on the state championship team. 1 ball and no strikes. Kershaw backs off the rubber. In fact, in the year 2000, Carlos Quentin was named San Diego's Male Athlete of the Year, and he was an honor roll student at University High as well. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Quentin stays and looks, and it's in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Carlos, in 1999, was on the USA Junior National Team that won the World's Championship in Taiwan, and then he played on Team USA in the summers of '01 and '02. 1 ball and 1 strike to Carlos Quentin. Big overhand breaking ball outside, ball 2, 2-1. When Carlos went to Stanford, he majored in political science and received his degree. 2-1 the count to Carlos Quentin. Out of a stretch goes Kershaw, looking back at Forsythe with 2 out. And the next pitch is a little low, ball 3. 3-1. 1-0 San Diego. We're in the third. Padres have won 5 straight on the road, but they come into this game with a 3-game losing streak, just like the Dodgers. Each team ended badly in the first half. 3-1 the count to Quentin. Kershaw delivers. Fastball swung on late. Good fastball at 95. And the first thing he does is check with Darrell Cousins. Did I swing at a strike? 3-2 the count. So you get that big slow 73-mile-an-hour change, and then Clayton comes back at 95. Kershaw from a stretch. Another look at Forsythe. And the 3-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. So Quentin strikes out. Kershaw picks up 2 strikeouts in the inning. And at the end of 2.5 innings, it remains Padres 1, Dodgers 0.
Season to win the game, win the title. That can be replayed over and over again. I take the natural. I'm going to go with Megamind, which is the most recent animated movie I've seen. Because I think anything is possible in animation and stuff. If I were trapped in a movie for the rest of my life, it would be Avatar. If I were trapped in a movie for the rest of my life, I would like to be in the movie Dumb and Dumber. Hanging out with those 2 guys.
The Sandlot. Because as a kid when you play baseball, it's just so much fun. And I remember that as a kid doing that. And now that I'm here, I actually always look back on it, and it's something I'll never forget.
The third for the Dodgers, pitcher number 22, Clayton Kershaw.
Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 San Diego. Dodgers will have Clayton Kershaw, Jerry Hairston, followed by Mark Ellis. Meanwhile, the Giants added 2 more, so they go to the third inning up north. Giants 4, Astros 0. First pitch to Clayton in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Kershaw batting .148. Richards didn't waste any time. Back he comes with a fastball hit wide at third. Headley is on it to throw him out. So we have 1 away here in the third inning. And the leadoff man, Jerry Hairston, will be coming up. Clayton Richard, a fine all-around athlete. He was a quarterback in high school and earned a scholarship to Michigan. Actually, he competed against future Dolphin quarterback Chad Henne up there at Michigan, but he didn't get a chance to play much, and that's when he decided to concentrate on baseball. Richard ready to work on Hairston, hitting .295 and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Hairston flied to center pretty deep, sent Cameron Maybin to the track. Pitch count is very important with Clayton Richard. Strike 1 pitch is low, 1-1. In watching him this year, Clayton Richard pretty much has to stay ahead of the hitters to have a chance. And from the 7th inning on, his earned run average is over 6. 1-1 pitch is low, ball 2, 2-1. After 101 pitches, the opposition hitting .467 against him. So he's got to get the job done and do it early. 2-1 the count. Richard ready. The left-hander comes back with a fastball, swung on and missed. 2-2 the count. Richard has made 18 starts with a record of 6-9. But remember, with a ball club that doesn't get him very many runs at all. 2-2 pitch on the way, low at the feet of Hairston. 3-2 the count. Jerry, who has just been amazing, he has made starts at left field, second base, third base, and DH. He is backed up by Mark Ellis and then Matt Kemp. 1-0 San Diego. Bottom of the third, one away, and the 3-2 pitch is swung on. Pop fly to the left side. Everett Cabrera is there, and just like that, 2 down with Mark Ellis coming up. You know, time's running out to become a member of the 2012 Dodgers season ticket holder family. Purchase today. You'll receive all of this year's new benefits, full postseason rights as well. Season tickets between the bases start at $10 per game. So visit Dodgers.com/season tickets today. And the pitch to Ellis in for a strike. We remind you, the Dodgers in first place for the 12th time during the divisional era. Strike one pitch is a ground ball to short. Cabrera had a little trouble getting the hop, but he makes the play, and the Dodgers go 1-2-3. So at the end of 3, Padres 1, Dodgers 0.
Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar One, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar. Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar One, made in California in an actual
Leading off the 4th inning, catcher number 12, Yasmani Grandal.
Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar One, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar.
Fourth inning, 1-0 favor of San Diego. The big catcher, Yasmani Grandal, out of Havana, Cuba, will start it off and takes a strike, 0-1. Yasmani was born in Cuba, immigrated to Miami when he was 10, started catching when he was about 13. Slices one foul. According to the Palm Beach Post, Grandal and his family, including his mother, stepfather, and maternal grandparents, won a national lottery that allowed them to enter the U.S. as legal residents. Boy, you talk about winning big. That's about as big as it goes. A national lottery in Cuba. 0-2. Ball 1. Originally, the Red Sox wanted him, but he passed up signing with them. Instead, went to the University of Miami. Then later on, he was a #1 pick by the Cincinnati Reds. Shot up the middle, and that will be a base hit. So Grandalo had the pop fly double and scored the only run in the game. Now opens up the fourth with a base hit. And Yonder Alonso coming up. Alonso had a marvelous at bat, a 10-pitch at bat, got a walk, and a couple of ground balls. Eventually got the Padres their run. Yonder Alonso, it's a different name. We understand his family actually made up the name. Pulled foul, 0-1. Yonder's father, Luis, was a catcher, first baseman, coach for a team in Cuba that was considered the New York Yankees of Cuba. Oh and 1. 0-2. In 1995, Yonder's father decided to defect, and the journey was on a small plane to Miami. The sad part, they had to leave a lot of relatives in Cuba. 0-2. Yonder's 6'2" and a good 235. Keep an eye on the young catcher Grandal. Oh and 2. Ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Padres 1, Dodgers nothing. 4th inning. That was that changeup, but it really got away. 2-2. When Alonso talks about coming from Cuba here, he talks about his hard-working parents. They both worked 2 jobs. 2-2. Fastball. Still 2-2. Alonso came up to the Reds in 2010, and then in 2011 he hit .330. San Diego needed a first baseman. Gonzalez was gone, so they went for Yonder. Ball 3. Kershaw, you may remember, pitched 1 inning in the All-Star game. Got in some trouble, but no runs. I don't think anybody felt that pitching 1 inning in the All-Star game would affect him tonight. Cameron Maybin waits on deck. 3-2 to Alonso. And he draws another walk. So he's won 2 battles going head-to-head with Kershaw. Now first and second, nobody out. And you have Maybin, Cabrera, and the pitcher Richard. Cameron Maybin checking in with Everett Cabrera behind him. Maybin having some trouble making contact. Last year he struck out 125 times. This year he has struck out 68 times at the halfway mark. Check swing for a strike. 0-1. Maybin with the Marlins in 2010 had 8 home runs. Last year with the Padres 9. And so far this year 4. 2 on, nobody out. Little nubber back to Kershaw. He's going to go to third for the force. Ball was not hit hard enough, and in his mind he couldn't try for the double play, so he would get the front man. And Grandal is cut down. 1-5. Kershaw to Uribe. First and second with 1 out, and the shortstop Everett Cabrera coming up. Time for the moment as plate umpire Darrell Cousins retrieving the donut, the weight that they attach to the bat. In the old days, you'd see the hitter come out and he'd carry 3 or 4 bats, and he'd swing the 3 or 4 bats. Then the one bat that he selected seemed so light because of it in comparison. Elston Howard, the catcher with the Yankees, decided one day, why in the world do I want to carry 4 bats and swing them? Why don't I get a metal donut, put it on the bat, and it saves me lugging all that furniture up to home plate? That's a strike to Cabrera. And the donut was born. 0-1 to count. Everett Cabrera. First and second, 1 out. Good breaking ball in there. So going right after Cabrera, Clayton has a no ball 2 strike count. One thing you would go after Cabrera, knowing that he's not going to play long ball with you. He's 5 feet 8 maybe, and maybe 160 players. One of 12 to make it from Nicaragua. Just off the corner. Beautiful sky at sunset. Magnificent time of day. Look at that. Wow. One ball and 2 strikes. Cabrera tries to hold up and does. 2-2 to Everett, out of Nicaragua, originally signed by the Rockies. His hometown about an hour from Managua. Very, very poor area. He had to get written permission from his mom to play with the older kids because he was only 6, but he was talented. Not now. Down he goes. So Kershaw, not trying to strong arm him, took a lot off that pitch. And Cabrera swinging at the arm action and not the speed of the ball, way out in front of it. Kershaw's 3rd strikeout, and now Clayton Richard. Richard hit the ball well, lined out to Jerry Hairston in left field. Hairston is up a little bit in left. 0-1. So Alonso at second, Maben at first with 2 out. We're in the 4th inning, 1-0 San Diego. Good fastball at 94, and the count 0-2. So Clayton Richard trying to help his own cause. Big overhand curveball hit down to Rivera, and that'll do it. So no runs, 1 hit, a walk, 2 left, and at the end of 3.5 innings, 1-0 San Diego. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T UVerse. Visit AT&T.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T UVerse. Visit AT&T.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer. 1-0 San Diego, and those of us fortunate enough to live here and look at the artist's palette up there in the sky. Whether you're Monet and a French impressionist, nature beats you every time. Meanwhile, bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 in favor of San Diego. Clayton Kershaw has had to struggle a bit. He's made 70 pitches now in the first 4 innings. However, the Padres, a very, very weak hitting ball club, they are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So Kershaw has been bobbing and weaving, and now the Dodgers wheel up Kemp, Ethier, and Rivera. Matt Kemp, a sharp double in the first inning to the gap in left center. 1-1. Cameron Maybin shading him just a tad towards right center, but Quentin has to lay straight away in left, so pretty big gaps, especially in left center field, and that's the hole he found. Ball 2. Well, Matt Kemp has given Clayton Richard a bad time before. He's 9 for 24 with 2 home runs, hitting about 360. Fastball, a one-hopper by the diving Cabrera. So Matt returns and doesn't look like he left. Missing 51 major league games, you come back against a very talented left-hander, and your first 2 at-bats, you produce a double and a single. So now Andre Ethier coming up. Dodgers, no runs, 3 hits. Ethier hit back to the box with 2 out in the first inning, and Juan Rivera hitting back. And a strike. 0-1. Ethier was hitting .241 against left-hand pitching. Missed 11 games, and now here he is. Ground ball to short. The quick feed for 1. They will turn it for 2. The 6-4-3 double play. And we have 2 down in the 4th inning. And the batter is Juan Rivera. For Andre Ethier, that would be the 7th double play into which he has hit. For the Padres, they do a pretty good job in turning them. So Richard now with 2 out, working on Juan Rivera, who struck out on a low breaking ball in the 2nd inning. Did he? No, he did not. Ball 1. Clayton Richard comes to the dance with a 2-seam fastball. then that slurvy curveball and the changeup. Comebacker, nice fielding job by Clayton Richard, and a nice quick inning for him. No runs, a hit, nobody left, and at the end of 4, Padres 1, Dodgers nothing.
Slight chance of a drizzle, maybe even a light shower. But tomorrow, as we take a look towards Saturday morning, waking up in the morning in the mid-60s, still humid out there for the morning.
Dodger Stadium Memories, presented by Mazda, July 22nd, 2009.
Fans who showed up to Dodger Stadium for Manny Ramirez bobblehead night may have been disappointed when they found out he wasn't in the starting lineup. But his pinch hit appearance sure made up for it. And a drive to left field down the line. It is gone.
Dodger Stadium Memories, presented by Mazda, July 22nd, 2009.
Fans who showed up to Dodger Stadium for Manny Ramirez bobblehead night may have been disappointed when they found out he wasn't in the starting lineup. But his pinch hit appearance sure made up for it. And a drive to left field down the line. It is gone. A grand slam home run. I mean, that's even more Hollywood than Hollywood. Yeah, you're right. It's Manny Wood. Ah, yes, it was by any other name. Meanwhile, Padres 1, Dodgers nothing, top of the 5th inning. It'll be the top of the order. Chris Denorfia, Logan Forsythe, and then Chase Headley. Padres are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, but they are leading 1-0. Denorfia grounded out, struck out. Chris 0 for 2, and ball 1. Denorfia, as we mentioned earlier, coming on strong since the 1st of June. Strike. One ball and 1 strike. One and 2 the count. Denorfia, originally signed by the Reds back in 2002, came up to Cincinnati, but then the next thing you know, he was in the Oakland A's farm system. And down he goes. So Kershaw picks up his 4th strikeout, 1 out in the 5th. Time to get you thinking. Here's our trivia question. Last year, Matt Kemp became the 2nd Dodger since 1900 to lead the National League in home runs and RBIs. Who was the first? So we'll come back with it in a little while. Here's Logan Forsythe. And a strike. Logan usually doesn't hit very well early in the game. First 3 innings normally he's hitting 179, but then does he ever pick up? From the 4th inning he's hitting about 370. Tonight lined out in the 1st inning and doubled in the 3rd. One and 1. A little nubber up along 3rd. A slide, a bobble, and a drop. All by Clayton Kershaw. So Forsythe reaching first base. We'll wait for the scoring. You can see Ellis telling Clayton, you throw it, and he couldn't pick it up. It'll go as a base hit. So Forsythe is now 2 for 3. A little frustrating for Clayton Kershaw, delightful for Logan Forsythe. pride of University of Arkansas. And here's Chase Headley. One out, fifth inning, 1-0 Padres. Quite a battle it figured to be. Kershaw and Richard. Ball one. Logan Forsythe has stolen 3 out of 4. But he's only been in 20-some-odd games. He was on the DL. Well, he might be a much better runner than 3 out of 4. Kershaw does a very good job of shutting down the running game. I think early in June he had picked off in his career 29 runners. 1 ball and no strikes. You would guess neither team will be able to do much running against left-handers with good moves like Kershaw, unless you're going to play hit and run. Richard has got the same move. Fastball, little flare, but it's going to go right to the shortstop Cruz. So Forsythe holding at first, and with 2 out, the batter will be Carlos Quinton. Quinton hit into a force play and struck out. He's probably smoldering a little bit inside. Remember that pitch up and in, kind of a message pitch to him in the 3rd inning before he struck out. If you are a talent like Quinton, you're going to get a lot of messages. 2 out, 5th inning, 1-0 San Diego. And ball 1. 1-0. Ground ball to the hole, base hit into left field. So after getting a message, he also sends a message to Kershaw that he's far from being intimidated as he singles to left. So 2 on, 2 out, and it's another opportunity for the Padres with a runner in scoring position. This time it's Logan Forsythe. Yasmani Grandal, a pop fly double and a chop up the middle for a base hit. Nick Hundley, who was around for quite a while with the Padres, was sent out. That, I think, surprised a lot of people. Hundley came up to the Padres in 2008 and pretty much stayed with them. But he was struggling, and out he went. So it's a big opportunity for Grandal. Switch hitter, hitting right-handed. Batting .324. 2 on, 2 out. Fouled away. It has not been easy for Kershaw. Had a runner in the 1st inning. He had 2 runners in the 2nd inning. There was another runner in the 3rd. There were 2 more runners in the 4th and 2 more runners in the 5th. He's working awfully hard. 82 pitches, trailing just 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yasmani Grandal. Forsythe at second, Quinton at first. 1-1. That's in there. 1-2. We were talking about the Padres with runners in scoring position were 0 for 8. With 2 outs for Bud Black in over 355 at-bats. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, Padres are hitting .166. . They started the night 13 games back of the Dodgers. Just did lay off that slow curve. So 2-2 the count. Grandal is 6'2", 210. 23 years old, and he has Yonder Alonso sitting back of him. Deuce is wild. Foul back. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 1-0 San Diego. They had a pop fly double and a couple of infield outs. Got the runner home, and it was Grandal. Two balls, 2 strikes. Down and away. So I don't think Kershaw wanted to go 3-2. That means Forsythe and Quinton will be going on the pitch. Three and two. There they go. Fastball fouled away. That was 95. That was a good pitch. And Grandal able to get a piece of it anyway. Grandal was so highly thought of. When the Reds signed him, they signed him for a bonus of $2 million. 3-2. Runners go. Breaking ball fouled at the plate. That big, slow 75-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Remember what it did to Chris Denorfia in the 3rd inning. That's that deer in the headlights look. And it just drops in like a little rainbow. Now let's see if he comes back 95 or not. 3-2, 2 out, runners ready once again. There they go. Fastball, and it was up at 94. Questionable whether it was a strike or not, but it is now. No runs, 2 hits, another blown opportunity for the Padres, but they lead 1-0.
Here's your first clue. It's a history clue. This city was the United States capital between 1789 and 1790. Your next clue. Unlike most major U.S. cities, this city's subway system runs 24 hours a day. And your final clue. More than 250 feature films are shot on location here. So, John, is the answer number 1, Boston, number 2, Philadelphia, or number 3, New York City? John says 3. And you are correct, John. Congratulations, you are the winner of a United Dream Destination. You have won 2 round-trip vouchers for a trip to New York City on United Airlines, the official airline of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Leading off the bottom of the 5th for the Dodgers, catcher number 17, A.J. Ellis.
Padres holding on to a 1-0 lead. Clayton Kershaw, bobbing and weaving, has made 90 pitches in 5 innings. Clayton Kershaw giving up just 1 run. Clayton Richards has allowed 3 hits and nothing else. So into the bottom of the 5th inning we go. Ellis, Uribe, and Cruz. Ball 1. Ellis fly deep to center in the 2nd inning. 0 for 1. Doing the bulk of the work behind the plate. 1-1 to count. The run in the second inning, a pop fly, fell in front of a hard charging Kemp for a base hit. There's a drive to center. Maben on the dead run makes a diving catch. And Cameron Maben making a great catch and slowly getting to his feet. Whoa. Wonderful play. Shook himself up a little bit as well. We mentioned earlier he is a daddy longlegs. He covers a tremendous amount of ground. Wonderful play. Fully extended. And then, of course, you try to brace it with the other hand, and then your stomach hits hard, and you feel it from head to toe. So they're going to take a little bit of time. I'll let Cameron Maben kind of pull himself together. Ellis robbed of a hit, and we have one away. So the batter will be Juan Uribe. Uribe had a base hit in the second inning. It was a chopper up the middle. Everett Cabrera made a diving try, and all he did was squirt the ball a little bit towards right center. Cabrera fell down with the effort, and Uribe was able to take the extra base. 1-1. Uribe hitting 200. 1 out, 5th inning, 1-0 Padres. Dodgers have beaten the Padres 9 straight here. That's a strike. Two and two. Richard impressive at 6'5", 225. And he goes all the way. And hammered to left, but on a line right into the glove of Carlos Quentin. The first ball ceremony tonight was a wonderful moment because out on the mound was two-time Olympic gold medalist, professional beach volleyball player by the name of Misty May Trainer, and the catcher was her husband, Matt Trainer. Misty, of course, along with her teammate Terry Walsh, heading for the Olympics with the prayers and hopes and love of her husband, hoping that maybe they can do it again. Matt Trainer you would like too. Very, very nice guy. 0-1 the count to Cruz. So Richard gave up the drive and the catch by Maben, then the line drive by Uribe right at Carlos Quentin, and a slow roller Headley in front of Cabrera to make the play. So just like that, at the end of 5, 1-0 San Diego.
Fans in the middle of the 8th inning.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Early mic check. 6, 7, 8, 9, 2.
Here now are your 3 choices.
Okay.
On the end. Here we go. Well, do you like it? That's the important part.
Definitely more handkerchief.
Definitely.
Yes.
Clean up my act.
Clean up your act. Yeah. Big party night.
And then drop.
A little mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3.
Remember, your pick is played tonight and will be one of the 3 choices at tomorrow night's game. We're living on a prayer. If you have to make it 9 in a row, we'll find out in the middle of the 8th.
On this day in 1954, the All-Star game was played at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, and the American League beat the National League 11-9. The manager of the National League team was Walter Alston. It was his first year as Dodger manager. Charlie Dressen had been let go after the 53 season, and normally, as you probably know, the winning manager of the previous year then manages the All-Star game the next year. And with that, we'll go back to this one. Ball one. Yonder Alonso hitting .263, walked twice. Big swing. That got plate umpire Darrell Cousins. So they'll give Darrell a little bit of time. He has been umpiring over 33 years. Second most in the major league behind Joe West. Darrell lives in Southern California and received a degree in political science from El Camino Community College in California. Well, he took a lick there. Of course, in one of the great years in Dodger history, 1988, Darrell Cousins worked that World Series. Well, Darrell says he's okay. Darrell would be 66 in August. Coming into this season, he had umpired 4,377 games. You don't think he took a few licks over that stretch of 33 years? Fouled away. One thing about Yonder Alonso, he has seen more of Clayton Kershaw, and Kershaw has seen more of him than any two in quite a while. In his first two plate appearances, he saw 17 pitches. Two and two. And a fly ball into right center. Kemp is there. One out in the sixth. Cameron Maybin coming up.
Center fielder Cameron Maybin.
Maybin, who made that highlight catch of the drive hit by Ellis. Cameron hit back to the box and hit into a force play. 0 for 2. You need a fleet-footed center fielder to play in San Diego, and they have one here. Cameron 6'3", 212, ball one. Originally, they thought of Maybin as a leadoff hitter. Right, 1-1. Cameron was Baseball America's Youth Player of the Year. He was an MVP at the Connie Mack World Series from North Carolina. They talk about a home run he hit in high school that went over 490 feet. 2-2. They asked Cameron how accurate was the 490. He said the coach that measured it ran out of tape at 490. Oh, okay. Two and two. With that kind of power, you would be disappointed if you were looking for Cameron as a home run hitter. He is not. His highest home run total in the minor leagues, 13, and the highest in the big leagues, 9. But he can sure go and get them. Maybin turned 25 in April. Figures to have a long career. Three and two. Kershaw working very hard. He's now made 101 pitches with 1 out in the 6th. And a walk. In contrast, through 5 innings, Clayton Richard has only made 67 pitches. So Kershaw walks his 3rd. He has struck out 4. The Dodgers are going to stir around in the bullpen. And the batter is Everett Cabrera. Grounded out, struck out, 0 for 2. Now you have a good battle inside the WAR with Maben. Give you an idea, Kershaw in his career has picked off 32 runners. The success ratio against him is only 54%. That's nothing. That's going to go down the line foul and out of play. So in Clayton Kershaw's career, he's been burned by 38 stolen bases, but 32 have been caught, and then he's picked off 32. So you have a guy who has stolen 16 out of 20 against a pitcher with a very good move. 0-1. Yeah, they will be fighting each other, you can bet. Cabrera hitting .236. Little guy has 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in. Oh and 1. 1-1. For Clayton Kershaw, I mean, he has been laboring tonight. Laboring against a club that has struggled scoring. His high in pitches in any one game, 117. Did that twice. He's now made 104 right now. Ball 2. When Cabrera was a little guy growing up in Nicaragua, he would watch television, and his idol was Rafael Furcal. He tried to do everything that Furcal did. Interesting, too, how did Cabrera get here? He answered a newspaper advertisement in Managua, a tryout camp for the Colorado Rockies. He answered the ad. Here he is. On a 2-1 count, certainly Kershaw and the Dodgers are thinking hit and run. Javi Guerra gets up in the Dodger bullpen now to throw behind Kershaw. His count's up to 106. 2-1. We'll see if they run Maben. Nope. And it's ball 3. All right, they've been running 2-1. Now they're going to play run and hit. Dave Roberts over to whisper in Maben's ear. 3-1 the count to Everett Cabrera. Cabrera has only walked 17 times, so despite the fact he gives you a small strike zone, he's apparently a pretty aggressive hitter. And they're going to watch Maben for sure. 3-1. One nothing San Diego, 6th inning. Kershaw, after 106 pitches. You know, there's only been 6 swings and misses at Kershaw's pitches tonight. 6. Maben doesn't go, and it's popped up. Mark Ellis. So with 2 down, Clayton Richard will be coming up, and we will answer the trivia question. Last year, Matt Kemp, the second Dodger since 1900 to lead the National League in home runs and RBIs. Who was the first? And he answered Dolph Camilli back in 1941 for the Brooklyn Dodgers, a team that went on to win the pennant for the first time in 21 years, only to bow to the Yankees. So here's Clayton Richard. You don't imagine they would run Maben, because if they throw him out, then you start the next inning with Richard. So the Padres are, how can you say it without making anybody angry when you use the word weakest offense, but let's say an offense that just does not score enough. They're probably, I know, last in the league. 0-2. Richard lined out to left, grounded to first. Chase Headley, who's been their big gun, 1 for 3 tonight, but non-productive. 0-2. Down he goes. So no runs, a walk, a man left. You have to express Clayton Kershaw has to be weary. 1-0 Padres. And that'll be all for Clayton Kershaw. He certainly gave it his best shot. 110 pitches, allowing 1 run, and the run was a bit fluky. It was a pop fly that landed in front of Matt Kemp, and then he kind of kneed the ball back towards the infield. It was hit by the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, and a couple of ground balls got him home. So Tony Gwynn will now bat for Clayton Kershaw. Tony hitting .240, 17 RBIs, of course, played for the Padres, and his father is immortalized in San Diego with a magnificent statue outside the park. Good bunt, and no play for Headley. So Tony Gwynn lays down a dandy and legs it out. Headley trying to make the bare hand pick up and throw, and came up with a handful of empty. So the Dodgers get the tying run aboard on the bunt single, and the batter will be Jerry Hairston. Now again, just like Cameron Maben facing Clayton Kershaw on the mound, Tony Gwynn is now looking at Clayton Richard. Gwynn has stolen 10 out of 16, but Richard has a good move over there. Hairston at the plate. There's a move. Fastball strike. He had Gwynn running back to the bag. on that pitch to the plate. So he's tough. Richard is not what you would call a strikeout pitcher at all, and he has 2 so far. Line drive knocked down. He has a play for 1, and that's it. Whoa. So Hairston hits a bullet, and Richards flags it, knocks it down, indicating to his catcher he's okay. That ball came back in a hurry. Cabrera had no further play. So the force play of Racing Gwynn. Now with 1 out, Mark Ellis will be the batter. Richard gets a kick out of the line drive. Hairston thinking I should have had a base hit. Hairston has 1 stolen base, and here's Ellis. Mark has great value in every area, and especially hitting second. You look at his numbers, he has walked almost as many times as he has struck out. He's been very, very reliable, spraying the ball, going the other way. See what he does here. Fouled away. So he's in a hole 0-2. But again, we mentioned Richard has only struck out 2. Richard's pitch count now, he's at 73, and Bud Black watching him very carefully. Hairston at first, 1 out, 1-0 Padres, bottom of the 6th. In Clayton's career, talking about success of stolen bases, only 59%, 24 successful, 22 pickoffs. 1-2. And a high fly ball down the left field line, right in the corner. Home run. Dodgers lead 2-1. Mark Ellis hits his 3rd home run of the year. He now has 11 runs batted in. Got a breaking ball, turned on it, hit it right down the line. All eyes were on Phil Cuzzy, the third base umpire. Matt Kemp doing some cheerleading, and the Dodgers have turned it around 2-1. And remember, Clayton Kershaw is still the pitcher of record. So that'll lighten the load for Clayton. After 110 pitches, puts a smile on her face. Meanwhile, Matt Kemp with a double and a single, hitting .366. The last home run by Mark Ellis was the middle of May against Wade Miley of Arizona, a left-hander. And for Clayton Richards, since he is not a strikeout pitcher, he has now given up 17 home runs, 16 of the 17 to right-handed batters. Kemp, meanwhile, with a 2-1 count. And that's fouled away. For Matt Kemp, he came back as if he had never been away. His first at-bat, he whacked it into the app in the left center for a double. And then the next time up, he hit a bullet by the diving Cabrera. 2-2. Ground ball to Cabrera. That's his 2nd out. And the batter will be Andre Ethier. You know, a little while ago we were talking about Matt Kemp and the other National League MVP, Dolph Camilli. Camilli in 1941 had 34 home runs, 120 RBIs. That was a club managed by Leo DeRocher. They lost to the Yankees in 5. And what should be duly noted, Dolph Camilli's son, Doug Camilli, eventually became a Dodger catcher. Caught Sandy Koufax. So maybe X number of years from now, there'll be a Kemp. 1-1 to Andre Ethier. Hit back to the box and into a double play. 0 for 2. When the Padres come up in the 7th, DeNorfia, Forsythe, and Headley. Look out. Did he get him? Yep. So Andre Ethier hit by the pitch. For Clayton Richards, that's only the 3rd batter that he has hit. So he would not be what you'd call a headhunter. For Ethier, it is the 6th time that he's been hit and got him right on the elbow. Right there. Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, out to check. In the inning, the bunt single by Gwynn, Hairston's force play on the line drive, and then Mark Ellis hitting a 2-run home run. So 2-1 Dodgers. Dale Thayer, a right-hander, begins throwing in the Padre pen. Rivera has struck out, hit back to the box. Andre Ethier does not steal bases. He's stolen one and he's been caught once. 2-1 Dodgers. Took them a while. Padres got a run in the 2nd. They had ample opportunity to add to it and couldn't do it. And the Dodgers break through with 2 here. A bunt single, a force play on a line drive, and the home run by Mark Ellis. Time, no pitch. Rivera backed out of the box. Time granted by Darrell Cousins. 0-1 to Juan Rivera. Hard ground ball, nice pick by Headley, and that'll be that. However, that 2 runs thanks to Mark Ellis, home run down the left field line, and at the end at 6, 2-1 Dodgers. That Clayton Kershaw and Clayton Richard would put on a push against shove, and that's exactly what happened. The only big difference, Kershaw made more pitches, was in constant trouble. However, the Dodgers have a far better offense than San Diego, but going head to head, you knew runs were going to be at a premium tonight. And finally, the 2-run home run by Mark Ellis. That's that. Gary Hairston now moves in to take over at third base for Juan Uribe. Tony Gwynn is in left field as Hairston comes in. Javi Guerra is the pitcher, so if you're keeping score, put Guerra in Rivera's spot. Alexi Amarista is going to come up and face Javi Guerra, who has not pitched here since May 30th. Remember, he was hit on the side of the jaw by a line drive. The jaw wound up okay, but he hurt his knee. And ball one. Amarista is about 5'6", maybe, and 150 pounds, maybe. He's from Barcelona, Venezuela. He started the year hitting 143, but he has really perked up. Foul ball. In his last 75 at-bats, he's hitting 333. He was originally signed as a free agent by the Angels, and all he kept hearing, he talks about, all he ever heard was, "You're too short. You'll never play." That's a strike. "And you're too light." So for a while it got to him and he gave up baseball. He started playing amateur softball. But he was spotted, tried out, and signed with the Angels at the age of 17 5 years ago. 2-2. In 2009, he won the Midwest League batting title. On the first swing of his major league career, Alexi doubled and drove in 2 runs in an Angel win early last year. And when they asked him, "What were you thinking about?" he said, "I was thinking about my dad. His father had been shot to death in a home invasion robbery in Venezuela." And it was a big deal for San Diego. They sent Ernesto Frieri, the brilliant reliever, to the Angels, who means so much to the Angels. And they got Amarista and Don Roach, a pitcher. Ground ball up the middle. A little man has done it again. So Amarista comes off the bench to get a base hit, and Logan Forsythe will be the batter. Checking the books on Amarista as a base running threat. 2 for 2, but then he's been caught twice as well, so he's a break-even base stealer. Forsythe lined out, doubled, and singled. The single was a little squibber up along third, and Kershaw just couldn't pick it up. Right. Forsythe with Chase Headley on deck. Padres have had at least 1 man on base in every inning. They've left 6. Cannot come up with the key hit, which has been their story all year. 0-1. Oh, and 2. Forsythe batting .315. No balls, 2 strikes. Guerra trying to put him away. Guerra's another fella returning. You may remember that Javi Guerra finally came off the DL July 5th. First time we had seen him would be July 6th in action. He'd been out since June 2nd. Had surgery on the right knee. Foul back. So tonight the Dodgers get Guerra back, Kemp back, Ethier back. Reasons to be optimistic. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Josh Lindblom begins to warm up. 0-2. In the dirt, gets away. Amarista goes to second base. So the tying run is out there with nobody on, which of course points up the problem the Padres has had. They were something like 0 for 8 a little while ago with runners in scoring position. It'll be a wild pitch, sending Amarista to second. So Bud Black has a ball club that has to scratch for runs. Of course, they're playing in a ballpark where everybody scratches for runs. One and two to count to Logan Forsythe. Foul back. The Padres have hit a total of 16 home runs at home. 16. Of course, I remember not too long ago, well, it was long enough, 1981. Joe Lefevre has the home run mark for the Padres. He had 8 for the year. Maybe the best home run hitter, certainly the greatest one day I think any Padre player ever had. That was long ago, 1972. Big guy named Nate Colbert in a doubleheader had 5 home runs and 13 runs batted in during the doubleheader. Bad ball, and he chased it. So Forsythe, you can understand that was up and away. He was trying to hit it the other way and at least get his man over to third, but he came up empty. So now Chase Headley. Chase Headley is single left, grounded to third, popped to short. So far now, San Diego with runners in scoring position is 0 for 10. And a strike. Meanwhile, up north, Giants 4, Astros 1, bottom of the 7th. Madison Bumgarner has a 2-hitter through 7 innings. Oh, and 1. That's inside. I was looking at Amarista and I was trying to think of another player with San Diego who was on the really smallish side. And if you were around watching those days, you might remember Enzo Hernandez. Enzo, I think, set a record, least RBIs, great number of at-bats. Hernandez had 12 runs batted in 549 plate appearances. Amarista does not get that much of a chance to play, but he has 18 RBIs and 4 home runs. So that's dynamite in a little package out there. He's the tying run with 1 out. Boy, they are taking some desperate swings. That was a pitch that might very well have been out of the strike zone. Oh, they are pressing. Two and 2 to Headley, hitting .267. Look out. Boy, he just did get out of the way of that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. 3 and 2 the count, and Carlos Quinton on deck. Little pop fly back of third, could be trouble, and instead Hairston. Gary Hairston making a fine play. He's made a couple of those playing third base. High twisters down the line. Has to turn his back, hoping to find it again, and did. So Headley pops out to Hairston, and the batter now Carlos Quinton. So Javi trying to keep Amarista at second base. Quinton hit into a force play, struck out, single to left. Amarista taking a big lead and drawing a look. Amarista pinch hit. Wild pitch to second. Carlos Quinton has been a major disappointment. That's ball one. When the Padres got him, they looked to him to be the big leader, the key hitter. Granted, he's hitting .270, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in, but with runners in scoring position and 2 outs for the year, 0 for 12. Two and 0. So once again, the Padres have a tying run, a winning run, whatever you want to call it, out there in scoring position. Two and 0. Ground foul. Quinton can think back to 2008 when he had 100 runs batted in. 2 years later, he had 87. Last year, he had 77. This year, he was banged up. He's played at Lake Elsinore, Tucson, twice. 2 and 1. And a fly ball to right field. It's playable. Ethier. So another runner left in scoring position. At the end of 6.5, 2-1 Dodgers. A magnificent evening, a Friday night to think about. Beautiful sky, warm summer's night, and a nice crowd. No one is wearing anybody else out. Hits, as figured, are at a premium, but the Dodgers have been able to put together one big blow. That was the bunt single, the force play, and then the home run by Mark Ellis. So we're having brilliant pitching. It is 2-1 Dodgers. And in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Dodgers will have A.J. Ellis to start it off. Alexei Amarista, who batted for Denorfia, is out there in right field. Bottom of the 7th inning, Bobby Abreu is on deck. And that's ball 1. So Bobby tuning up. Ellis fly deep to center and was robbed by Cameron Maben. This time bangs it the right side to Forsythe. 1 away. So Abreu batting for Javi Guerra.
Attention please for the Dodgers, pinch hitting for Guerra, number 23, Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu hitting .272 with 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Had a big solid July where he hit .350. And ball 1. Comebacker knocked down by Richard. That's a second good play he's made defensively. And with 2 out, the batter will be Luis Cruz. A reminder, don't forget Tuesday at 7:10, Dodgers and Phillies. Fans with the first 30,000 tickets receive their own beach chair, compliments of Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Cruz has grounded to short and grounded to third. In the dirt, ball 1. One of the things upon really close scrutiny about Clayton Richard, we told you that he's given up 17 home runs, 16 of the 17 to right-hand batters. He's been haunted by the 1 and 2 count. Even though a pitcher considers himself in the driver's seat 1 and 2, he has given up 5, including the one tonight to Mark Ellis. As they return to the wars tonight, Matt Kemp doubled in the first inning, singled in the fourth, grounded out in the sixth. Andre Ethier hit back to the box in the first inning, hit into a double play in the fourth, and was hit by a pitch in the sixth. Dodgers holding on to a fragile 2-1 lead. Ronald Belisario comes out of the bullpen. Kershaw for 6, Guerra for 1, and now Belisario. In 8 of his last 9 outings, he is not allowed a run. That's almost 10 innings. Interesting, too, what he does with the first hitter. He's retired 23 of 29 of the first batters he has faced. So this will be the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, who has doubled, singled, and struck out. And the strike, 0-1. Down in the Padre bullpen, Luke Gregerson begins to heat up. Ground ball to the hole, backhanded by Cruz, sets for the throw and gets him. 1 out in the 8th, and the batter now Yonder Alonso. So again, Belisario comes in and gets that leadoff man. Alonso walked twice, flied to center. He's seen a lot of pitches tonight, but when it's all said and done, 0 for 1. Right. Two runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 7 hits for the Padres. Alonso, among other things, had 20 doubles in the first half of the season. Two on the corner, 1 and 2. Quinton, another big hitter in the lineup, 1 for 4. Alonso's a little hot. I think he was sure that was a ball. And Bud Black's also a little shot. 1 and 2. And hit right at Mark Ellis. So 2 down in the 8th inning. And Alonso's angry. He's still looking back at Darrell Cousins. And the batter now, Cameron Maybin. We're in the 8th. 2-1 Dodgers. Padres scored in the 2nd. They've had standing room only all night, but they can't come up with the right ticket. Dodgers were unable to do anything until the 2-run home run by Mark Ellis in the 6th. Maybin is 0 for 2 and made the spectacular diving catch of the ball hit by A.J. Ellis in the 5th inning. 0-1. One and 1. Pretty good fastball hurrying up there at 96. 1 and 2 to Cameron Maybin. Maybin had hit safely in 7 of the last 9 before the break. Down he goes. So a nice easy inning for Ronald Belisario, and we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers 2, Padres 1. Winning here, and Arizona lost this afternoon. So for the moment, it's still a half a game between the Giants and the Dodgers, and from the looks of things, it might remain that way. However, San Diego still has the ninth inning. Dodgers with Tony Gwynn, Jerry Hairston, and Mark Ellis. Clayton Richard only made 92 pitches in 7 innings. The bunt single by Gwynn set up the 2-run home run by Mark Ellis. 1-1. Richard beat the Dodgers twice this year, 6-1 lifetime against them. One ball and one strike. Interesting to compare what's been going on with the Dodgers. In their last 21 games before the break, the Dodgers were scoring 3 runs or less in 17 of the 21. And here they are with 2 runs tonight. Over that stretch, they lost 15 of 20. 1-2. Ground ball to the right side to Forsythe. 1 away. You know, you can follow the Dodgers with MLB.com at bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, BlackBerry, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. Well, Clayton Richard, I think, is about ready to call it a night. Yep, there he goes. He pitched exceptionally well. Any kind of hitting, he'd be leading, but he goes out losing 2-1, and we'll be back. With Jerry Hairston coming up, they bring in Dale Thayer. Thayer's a right-hander and a local boy from Fountain Valley and Huntington Beach. He was signed by the Padres out of Chico State. He went to Edison High School before that. Dale was originally drafted by the Cubs, returned to school, and signed with the Padres out of a tryout camp. So Thayer going against Hairston, and ball 1. Jerry hitting .291, 4 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Started the game in left field, finishing up at third base. And a line drive into the gap in right center for a base hit. Cameron Maben up with it, and Hairston will hold with a long single to right center field. So Mark Ellis coming up, and he has the big swing of the night. Mark had struck out and grounded out and then hit the home run down the left field line. Remember at the very start of the game, we talked about how it seemed to be a contradiction that Clayton Richard is a ground ball pitcher, yet he had given up 16 home runs, 15 of them to right-hand batters. Well, tonight he got 15 ground ball outs, and yet he gave up the home run. So now he's given up 17 home runs and 16 to right-hand batters, despite all the ground balls. And Richard pitched a dandy, but he's losing 2-1. In the dirt, nice block, lost for the moment by Grandal. Down in the Dodger bullpen, getting ready for the 9th inning, is Kenley Jansen. Mark batting .272 with Hairston at first, 1 out in the 8th. A little roll up along third, tough play for Headley. Gets it over there, and a good stretch by Yonder Alonso. So Ellis grounds out, but he advances Hairston to second base, and here comes Matt Kemp. The paid attendance tonight, and it's a good crowd for a Friday night. Paid attendance 43,873, many of whom I'm sure came to see the return of Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier, and they weren't disappointed. Matt's had a double and a single. And ball 1. Matt hitting .363, 12 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Thayer keeps it pretty simple. Fastball, slider, and a changeup. Two and 0. Fouled away, 2 and 1. Matt Kemp trying to pick up Hairston. Dodgers lead 2-1. Padres are due to lead off the 9th inning with Everett Cabrera. Then the pitcher's spot and Alexi Amarista. And a fly ball, late start in right field, but Amarista is there. So no runs a hit, man left. Jansen's getting ready in the pen, and we're heading for the 9th, 2-1 Dodgers. Inning. Tomorrow night, Aaron Harang at Edinson Volquez. You may remember Aaron Harang, who formerly pitched for the Padres and won 14. Struck out 9 straight Padres on Friday the 13th in April. Went on to strike out 13 in the game. So it would be another strong matchup. Volquez and Harang tomorrow night. Game will start at 6:10. And Harang, along with other pitchers making their notes like Nathan Eovaldi. Kenley Jansen trying to get some outs. Everett Cabrera, the shortstop. He'll be followed by Mark Kotze, a left-hand batter, and then Alexi Amaristi. By the way, in line for the victory, he went 6 innings and made 110 pitches, but he was the pitcher of record when Mark Ellis homered in the bottom of the 6th. So Clayton Kershaw would get the win. And remember, last year, Clayton in the second half of the season was 12-1. So we'll see about tonight. Cabrera has grounded out, struck out, and popped up. The only run for the Padres. Grandal got a pop fly double to left, and a couple of ground balls scored him. Big bouncer right to Rivera. 1 away. Mark Kotze, good left-hand batter, checking in.
Attention please for the Padres, pinch hitting number 14, Mark Kotze.
Mark Kotze, born in Whittier, lives in San Diego. He went to school at Cal State Fullerton. He was originally drafted by the Marlins way back in 1996. Used to homer in double figures for years. Fouled away. When he was with the Marlins, he hit 11 home runs, 8. Then he came 12. Eventually, 10 years ago, he came to the Padres and hit 17. He's hit 15 twice with the Oakland A's. 0-1. He has 1 home run this year. 1-1 to Mark. Kenley Jansen trying to close up shop. He has 4 wins as a reliever. On the corner, 1-2. Jansen with his 4 wins has 15 saves as Headley and Alonso look on. The opposition is hitting 127 against Kenley Jansen. Cameron Maybin taken in the sights. 2-2 to Mark Kotze. Kotze has a half a dozen pinch hits coming off the bench. 1 out, 9th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. And popped up. It will be Luis Cruz. So 2 down in the 9th inning. And Alexi Amarista coming up. Amarista appeared as a pinch hitter and singled leading off the 7th. They left him in scoring position upon a wild pitch. Two runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 7 hits for the Padres. Padres were .500 in 1-run games. They had played 24. and they were 12-12. For the Dodgers, this is their 33rd one-run game, and it looks like they're going to wind up 19-14 thanks to Mark Ellis, 2-run home run in the 6th inning. Two 2-0. 3-0. Let's face it, Alexei Amarista doesn't give you very much of a target. 3-0 with Logan Forsythe on deck. Very high on all of them. So the Padres still alive. A runner at first with 2 out. Ellis and Hairston going to the mound to talk to Kenley. As far as Amarista is concerned, he is 2 for 4 in stolen bases, so it's not like they have somebody automatic out there. Logan Forsythe will be the batter, and now Rick Honeycutt has gone out to talk to Jansen. Logan Forsythe, with his foot in the door, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in, batting .311. Last 14 games prior to the break, hitting .321. So he probably hated to take time off. He was really, during that stretch of 14 games, he not only was hitting .321, 6 of the games were multi-hit games for him. He had a fractured foot late in March. He had surgery. So it took him a long time to come back. Logan Forsythe. Amarista at first with 2 out, representing the tying run. And ball 1. We've been talking about stolen bases and lack thereof with 2 left-handers with good moves to first, Clayton Richard and Clayton Kershaw. For Jansen, they are running on him. The league is 14 for 14 in stolen bases. That was fine. Well, maybe one of the meetings on the mound, first with Ellis and Hairston and then with Honeycutt, was, hey, keep an eye on the runner at first. He's the tying run. 1-1. He's not going. Check swing, going to cost him a strike. 1-2 to Logan Forsythe. 2 out, 9th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. It looks like the Giants will win against the Astros, although it's not over yet. Giants are leading 5-1 in the 9th. So 1-2 to Logan Forsythe. Amarista goes, and the pitch is grounded. Oh, what a pick by Rivera! If he doesn't make that play, it's down the line, and Amarista would score. And Rivera, with the ball hit to the glove side, just grabs it, and the game is over. Big play to end it. So for the Dodgers, in another tough 1-run game, and they've certainly excelled, they're now 19-14. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. And for the Padres, who just cannot score, cannot get runners home in scoring position, another frustrating night for Bud Black, not to mention what it did to Clayton Richard. Richard went 7 1/3, 96 pitches, pitched exceptionally well, and then with the 15 ground balls, gave up the home run to Mark Ellis. For Jansen, he made 15 pitches in the 9th inning. And for the Padres, with runners in scoring position tonight, they were 0 for 12. And with that, we'll wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.
40,000 to see Matt Kemp How's that feel?
Great. Feels great to be back.
So when Matt Kemp comes over and I said, I need you for the postgame interview, he says, what about Mark Ellis? He had a 2-run home run, but we figured you'd probably want to hear from the guy who's been away for 6 weeks. Tell me what it felt like to be back on the field tonight.
Man, it's been a long time. It's been a month and a half, man. I've been itching to get back out here. And, you know, I just need to get back with my teammates, man. I'm happy to be back. And, you know, we're going to lead the team to the playoffs, and we're going to do some big things this year.
Matty, one thing I know about you is you love the moment. It's just a midseason game. It didn't mean all that much. But that first at-bat when you came up and you were up the double, were you a little nervous? How'd you feel?
Oh, of course. I've been nervous all day. I woke up nervous. I mean, I just wanted to play my game, come out here and help my team win in any way possible.
You mentioned Mark Ellis. That's another guy who's been on the DL for a long time. That's a guy who missed 43 games. A lot of people didn't think he'd be back for about 6 or 7 more weeks. What a stud to come out, and then he hits the game-winning home run.
Hey, man, that's my man. He's been working hard to get back. And, you know, we're just now getting back healthy. We're going to get back to where we've been. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Matt Kemp is back with the Dodgers. Dodgers now 8-2 against the Padres, and they beat them twice on Friday the 13th. We come back. It's out to center field. Dodgers Live. Patrick O'Neill, Kenny Lofton, and Steve Lyons.